Hey, it's with Eldores Chess, and today I want to start my series with 13 insane mad games. I've chosen 13 games that I find really crazy and has very much to learn from the games. So it is a opera game. It's one of the most famous chess games. It's between Duke and Karl versus Morphy, and it was during an opera. So Morphy begins with e4. Opponent plays d5, just normal development, and the opponent plays Philidor. The Philidor defense is not that popular. Donny Dubov, super grandmaster, plays it in rapid events, but personally I don't think it's that great, because you want to show your cards in chess at the latest possible moment, and this position is Philidor defense is rather very inflexible, because on the second move you already decided your pawn structure, and I think it's better to play just knight c6 instead of d6, although it's just an opening, but just from a practical point of view. Morphy plays d4, going directly for the center, breaking the center, maybe going for an open game. Opponent plays bishop g4. Here we already have a line where you can win a pawn, because you can take the queen and then win the pawn. But in this variation, the opponent took with the bishop, and I find this very bad. This is my first lesson of the game. Why develop a piece just to sacrifice it? So Morphy can replace it with a queen, and then he has already pressure on the f7 pawn, and f7 pawn is already the weakest pawn to begin with, because it's only protected by the king. And in this position, Morphy develops the bishop, and let's say you join a chess tournament, and this is your starting position with black. So you come in for your day, and the referee gives you this as a starting position. I don't think you would be very happy, because in this position it's already terrible for black, in my opinion. Yes, it's already terrible for black. Let's analyze it closer. So what is the idea for white? Initiative. What's the idea for black? Defend, because it's already lags. Is there a blunder? Yes. There's already a tactic. No. Development 2, 0. Harmony, yes. The bishop, the white colored bishop and the queen are very harmonious. No. Weaknesses 2, 0, 0. Two. King safety not important, better endgame not relevant, rook join not relevant, stalemate not relevant. In this position, I already give Morphy 5 apple pies and his opponent 3 apple pies. We see the two weaknesses he has is the f7 square and the b7 square. So in this position, black has already two weaknesses, only one developed piece. White has 2 developed pieces and is already has an initiative. So black plays, in my opinion, one of the worst move of the game, queen e7. This move is very, very bad, in my opinion, because it blocks the development of the dark square bishop. So black can never develop easy his dark square bishop. But because black plays his queen on e7, his dark square rook is also undeveloped, because his dark square rook cannot go out, because his dark square bishop is in the way, and because his dark square rook cannot be developed, he cannot castle either. So in this move, you restricted 3 pieces of your own: your king, your dark square bishop, and your dark square rook. Morphy develops his knight on c3. Opponent plays this really looking move c6. I think b6 is better, or admitting that you placed the queen wrong and placing the queen on d7, because I think sooner or later you have to replace your queen, or because there's very slow time to develop to fianchetto your dark square bishop. Morphy plays this beautiful move, bishop to g5, pinning the queen with his bishop, pinning the knight with his bishop. Morphy already understands this position, that he has a huge initiative. He has easy development. So he pins, pin to win, they say in chess. Then his opponent played, in my opinion, a very bad move. In this position, Morphy doesn't play for bishop d3, but instead plays a beautiful knight takes b5, going for the initiative and sacrificing for the initiative. Black has to take the pawn, or else he's just down a pawn. And now we see this beautiful position that has to be placed in our human engine. Thus, what are ideas for the position for white? Attack. What is black doing? Just defending. Are there blunder tactics checkmates? Yes. There are lots and lots of tactics because the king is in the center. How many pieces are developed for white? 1, 2, 3. And for black, let's say 1. Only his queen. His defending queen, may I add. Because his knight is immobilized because the dark square bishop is pinning his knight. Is there harmony in peace? Yes. You have this bishop and queen are working together. So there's harmony, while white pieces are all over, black's pieces are all over the place. This dark square bishop is imprisoned by his own queen. This rook is imprisoned by his own dark square bishop. His knight is pinned. His knight here doesn't have any good squares. And his rook is here standing also very isolated, doing nothing. The rook is not even paired with the other rook, which you mostly want to do in most games. Next, we have knight d7, blocking the check. And we see this knight doesn't really also have a future, because it's also pinned by the white squared bishop. Now Morphy develops another piece. So now he has 4 pieces developed, and black really doesn't have any piece developed. You can say that he doesn't, because you can say these 2 knights are pinned, because you have this beautiful white square bishop eyeing the king, and this beautiful dark square bishop eyeing the dark square, the queen, and his queen is just really defending f7. And even if she doesn't defending f7, it still has a defending purpose, and it doesn't have that many squares to go to. So black is totally paralyzed in this position, and it's already lost. The opponent plays rook d8, so if Morphy takes, he can take back with the rook and not with the knight, because his queen is pinned. And now I think Morphy makes another amazing move. A lot of people cannot convert in this position, but Morphy, with his eye for initiative, tactic, and knowing that it doesn't matter in this position, development is a key. In certain position, development is maybe not that important, because sometimes Grandmaster can win a game with 1 pawn up with less development. But in this game, Morphy sees that he has a white square bishop eyeing his opponent's king. He has a dark square bishop eyeing the queen of the opponent. He has this beautiful queen placed that controls many central squares and puts pressure. And he controls the d file, because he doesn't have the rook here is pinned. So now Morphy plays another crazy move. He develops his last piece, controls the d file, because the rook on d7 is totally pinned by the queen. And just take a minute and look at his position. Still, White has 4 developed pieces. Black has none. Black has like 3 to 5 weaknesses. He has so many holes, so many back rank issues, king safety issues, weak pawn, immobilized. His pieces are very bad developed. It's terrible for black. King safety, safety is just horrible. And white doesn't have any weaknesses because white has initiative. His only possible weakness is materialistic, but in this position it doesn't matter which pieces are on the board, because his dark square bishop and his king are really doing nothing. So in this position, just look at the position and look what is doing what. This queen is not doing anything. This rook is just pinned. This knight is pinned. This dark square is not doing anything, and his rook is totally black is totally paralyzed. So the opponent tries to unpin part of the position, and Morphy now gives the death sentence to the opponent. He takes the rook with his white squared bishop, so the opponent has to take with the knight. And in this position, you can pause the video and search for a death blow. Morphy plays a beautiful looking queen b8, and there's only one move he can make, and that is taking with the knight, and then you have this beautiful checkmate on the d8 square, because the king can't go anywhere and you cannot block because it's checkmate, it's check, so it's a legal move. This position I wanted to show, it's not only a beautiful game, but it learns the power of initiative and development. It also teaches us about exchanging is not always the right thing to do, because sometimes when you exchange, you make the position better for your opponent, because your opponent in the early stages of the game, you just exchange you just exchange, but in return, white already who plays the first move already has a lead in development. And the third move is the beautiful understanding of certain position, understanding that the king from the opponent is in the center, and understanding that it's okay to sacrifice material if you have a huge initiative. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned a lot.